Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Eman. If you are new to my channel, a little bit about myself before I get into this video, because this is not just a regular video. This is a very special video for me. This is a video that is 10 years in the making. So if you're new, I'm a professional makeup artist. I've been doing makeup for 10 years. Maybe over 10 years actually, but around 10 years, and I've been on YouTube for 10 years, which is a lifetime. So I pretty much started my YouTube channel right when I started learning how to do my makeup. And I've kept all my videos on my channel. You could see the very first video I posted almost 10 years ago that is still up there. And you could see how far I've come with makeup. So if you're an aspiring makeup artist, this is definitely a journey that you can do as well, because you could just watch and see how bad I used to suck at makeup and where I am now. And what makes this video super special is because today I'm finally sharing with you guys something that has taken this entire journey to get to. It is my very first makeup collab with a cosmetic brand, and this is literally something I've talked about so many times on my channel and dreamed about it, and it was like my goal for so long. So for it to finally come to life and come true is so amazing, and it would have never happened without you guys, especially my OG long-term subscribers that have been with me from the beginning, from Vancouver, Canada to Toronto and now LA, and watching me grow and just being with me all along the way. So I'm so excited to finally be able to reveal this collab. I've kind of hinted at it in a few videos. I've told you guys something is coming. I've used a couple products without saying what they are, and now I can finally share. As of August 1st, I am launching my very first makeup collaboration with the brand Catrice Cosmetics. Catrice is a brand that I've used for years. They are based out of Germany. They're sold all over the US and all over the world. And they have certain products that I really love and I've used in my videos. When they reached out to me to do this collaboration, I was ecstatic. But even more so, what made this whole process so amazing is that they have been so incredible to work with. I do not say that all the time because not every brand is like that, but they were incredible. They gave me all the freedom in the world to do whatever I envisioned and to create products that I knew you guys were gonna love. These products are just for you guys. I literally thought of you guys in every single step of the way to make sure that these palettes, which is what they are, so they are 3 palettes that are part of the collection. And we have, should I just get into it? I might as well, because if you're new, you're like, get to the makeup. So the first palette is the Catrice x Eman highlighter palette. This is the Lit highlighter palette. It has 4 beautiful highlighter shades. And one of the really big things that I focused on while coming up with these products is I needed these products to work on everyone of every skin tone. And you know, that can kind of be hard when you have only 4 colors in the palette. But we tested them out and I tried my best to come out with the best colors that will work on a wide range of skin tones. And these highlighters are beautiful. They go on the skin like butter. There's 4 different gorgeous shades. You can mix and match them, or you can wear them on their own. You can wear them on your eyes. I'm going to be doing a full look for you guys today. I'm showing you how to use all these palettes, but I'm going to be doing a lot of tutorials in the next little while using these palettes. The second palette is the Catrice x Eman blush palette. This is the Cheeky blush palette, and it also has 4 gorgeous blush shades. I love this palette so much because the colors are really different for blush. These are not your typical blush colors, But these are the colors that I always use in my kit because they work on so many different skin tones. And again, you could totally mix and match and play and have fun. And there's like this beautiful bright orange, this more darker brown tone, which is one of my favorite tones for blush because it also can double as a bronzer. And then the gorgeous like pinky peachy tones. So that is the Cheeky Blush palette. I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail about each palette in a second. And then the last palette is my baby. This is, again, 10 years in the making, because if you've been on my channel for a while, you know that one of the things I'm known for is bronzy eye looks. That is my go-to. I love it, and it's kind of how I started on YouTube. So of course I had to make the Bronzed AF Catrice x Eman eyeshadow palette. This palette is going to be everyone's go-to palette. If you have this palette for eyeshadow, you can create a bazillion looks and just have so much fun using beautiful bronzy neutrals that come in mattes, that come in shimmers, and literally everything you need is in this palette. So those are all three palettes, and the amazing thing is that they will be sold at Ulta. They're on the Ulta website, ulta.com, as of right now. So you can actually purchase them right now on ulta.com, and they'll be in Ulta stores officially as of August 1st. But they've already dropped in some of the stores, so you might see it at your local Ulta. And you guys, they retail for $12 each. So each palette is $12, which is a really great price, which is another thing that was super important to me. I wanted to make sure that they were affordable so you guys can get all of them or get one or whatever you can add to your makeup collection. But it's a great price. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what went into making these, but if you guys want to skip to the makeup part, just go to this timestamp right here. A big part of my journey on YouTube has been not only just growing as a makeup artist, but growing in my life. Being on camera for 10 years, there's no way I'm not gonna show parts of my life with you guys. And you guys have seen my journey from, like I said, from being a complete newbie to makeup, not having any idea what I was doing, to being a professional. I've worked with celebrities, I've worked on magazines, I've worked on TV, and now I'm on the other side where I've been in beauty campaigns and I've worked with almost every single makeup brand out there. So the journey has been so long, and in the midst of all that, I've also had a lot of personal journey. You guys have seen me go through moving countries, moving cities. You've seen me go through a very big breakup that kind of took over my channel for a while. And you've seen me grow in my career. And I wanted to share that journey in the design of the palette. So each palette represents a different stage in my life, and I kind of used where I grew up as kind of points to show those different times in my life. So the blush palette, names of things that resonate with me to do with Egypt. So if you guys don't know, I'm Egyptian, and I was born in Egypt, and I grew up there, and then before I moved to Canada. And so there's names. Cairo is the city that I'm from. Alexandria is the city my mom is from. Luxor is a very famous place in Egypt where there's the Sphinx, and shisha. Well, I just love to smoke shisha, so I had to throw that in there. So this represents a big part of my culture. Being Egyptian is a big part of who I am. Another little thing that I added on each palette is I wanted to add quotes. Feel like I've gone through a lot in the last few years, and just having like these little reminders have really helped me. So each palette has a quote. This one says, "Live what you love." And I love that quote so much because I've been someone who has followed her dreams from day one. I've truly tried to live a life that I love. That's something I really, really believe in. So that is the quote on this palette. So the next palette is the Lit Highlighter palette. And the names on this palette represent my time growing up in Canada. So there's a few things that really resonate when I think of Canada, and I wanted to include them. I'm from British Columbia. I grew up in Vancouver, but specifically the city that I'm from is called Surrey. So that is the shade name there. Surrey kind of has a really interesting reputation. If you're from British Columbia at all, you might know what I mean by Surrey. If you do, please leave it in the comments because it's kind of an inside joke. Whistler is another really famous place in British Columbia that I used to go to all the time. So is Victoria. And then Maple, I had to include Maple because maple syrup is a token Canadian thing, and I thought it was the perfect name to represent this color. So that is the Lit highlighter palette. And then for the Bronze AF palette, which I think is perfect to represent where I am now in my life, all of the places in California, specifically Los Angeles, that I love so much. So when I first moved to LA, I moved to this area called Fairfax, so that I had to include. One of my favorite areas is Sunset, Melrose. I love Malibu. I go to Malibu all the time. Laguna Beach is one of my favorite places. Runyon Canyon is a hiking spot in LA that's really famous. If you ever watch The Hills, they used to go to Runyon all the time. I go to Runyon all the time. Hollywood Boulevard is a staple in LA. Sweetser is the actual street that I lived on for a while. And then Mulholland Drive is like one of the most famous streets in LA. This palette really represents who I am now, where I am in my life. So that's why I wanted to be my LA palette. And the quote on this palette is "Strong is beautiful," because even though moving to LA has been one of the most amazing experiences of my life, it's also been one of the most challenging. And going through everything that I've gone through in the last few years has really taught me how strong I am. And I've had people say that to me in my life a lot, like, you're so strong, but I never really felt it until the last couple of years. It kind of like clicked into my head, wow, I'm really strong, because I've gone through a lot and I've persevered and I'm still here. And it's one of the most beautiful traits, I think, having inner strength. So strong is beautiful. And then the quote on the highlighter palette is "You are gold, baby," which I thought is just the perfect quote for a highlighter palette first. And then also just a reminder of how we need to appreciate ourselves. And it's so easy to get down on ourselves and to critique ourselves, and that inner voice can be super critical. So just praising yourself and telling yourself that you're amazing, you're gold, you're incredible is important to do. Sometimes we forget. Now let's get into the design, and then I'm gonna get into the makeup. If you're still watching, I love you. So the design of the palettes we went back and forth a lot. And I say we because I was working with my two amazing assistants, my photographer Morgan and my assistant Sarah, who really helped bring this all together. We went back and forth a lot with the logo and with the design, but we ended up deciding on this design with the flowers and these colors because I think I kind of realized, especially like posting a lot on Instagram and seeing how my grid looks and just like what my style is and what I gravitate to, I really love soft, pretty things. And even you could see that in my makeup. I get a lot of comments where people are like, can you do more crazier looks and use colors and da-da-da-da? And, you know, I've just come to accept the fact that that's not who I am. My aesthetic, my style is a lot more on like so soft and beautiful and pretty. And that's really how I wanted these palettes to look. And we did that with the colors, we did that with the designs, coming up with the fonts, coming up with the design of the flowers, and then also kind of creating this kind of like collage feel. Because mood boarding is something I've always done as an artist, whether, you know, mood boarding for a shoot or mood boarding for a video, I always create mood boards for everything. This flower design is kind of like creating this beautiful mood board and then you adding these like little touches to make it really pretty. So that was kind of the thought process behind it. And I want you guys to know that I decided every single detail about these palettes. Every detail. So I'm talking about choosing that it's a square, deciding how many shades in each palette, deciding that I wanted the palettes to be matte and then the font's white, and having like the little detail of the name, what color I wanted the font for that, how I wanted each palette to be titled, choosing every single color, testing them over and over and over on different skin tones, and playing around with them and creating beautiful looks before even deciding on the shades, testing the formulas, going back and forth on the formulas, making sure that it's creamy enough or matte enough, making sure that like when you put your brush in it, it doesn't crumble, making sure that there isn't a ton of fallout, that it blends properly. Like there's so much that goes into it. I had no idea I was going to enjoy this process so much, but I loved it. Like I literally loved every single second of it. Making sure that the colors all work together, deciding like if we want the inside of the palette to be black or to be white, adding the quote there, that was really important. Whether to have a mirror or not. We didn't have a mirror at first, and then I was like, you know what? It's really convenient having a mirror. So many like little details that I had no idea about. And the blushes, you know, it was hard because we could only have 4, but we needed the blushes to work for everyone. So just really going back and forth. Did I want to add shimmer? Did I want them to be matte? How pigmented? Going back and forth on the formula to make sure it's pigmented enough, but not too pigmented, so you could blend it out beautifully. And same with the highlighters. Getting the right formula and the colors for the highlighters was super important. I wanted all of these shades to be able to kind of be multi-use. So if you get these 3 palettes, this is like all you need in your makeup kit when it comes to color other than lips. So you could basically just have these 3 palettes and you don't need anything else. So I created everything so they could have dual purposes. So all the highlighters can be used on your eyes. You could add touches on your lips. Same thing with the blush. The eyeshadow palette is great because if you wet any of the colors, like especially the dark colors, that can turn as liners. These can have like a very metallic vibe to them. Everything is multi-use, which is how I do makeup, especially as a makeup artist on set. I always multi-use everything. All you need is these 3 palettes, you guys. That is it. And you could have, like, I will be showing you, you can create so many beautiful looks with these palettes. All the details are on the back. Even like deciding how I wanted like all the information on the back to look, that was like a whole thing. These are the 3 palettes. They are available now at Ulta.com. They will be officially in stores August 1st, but you might see them already in some places. Oh, and I forgot to mention the most amazing thing. I was so happy when Catrice told me that it's going to be available at Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada. So if you are a Canadian follower, let me know below. You guys know how much that means to me because Shoppers Drug Mart to us is like Ulta. It's like where you go buy your makeup. So to be on the display in Shoppers Drug Mart, that means my mom can go see it, my dad can go see it. They'll finally know what I do for a living. And the Ulta display will also have the beautiful images that we created for these palettes. So if you guys see them, please take pictures and tag them on Instagram or on Twitter. I'd love to see them. And I think that's it. I rambled for like a good solid, but I feel like that was forever. I'm so excited for this. Let's just get into the makeup because you guys are going to be seeing me talk a lot about these palettes as I'm doing the makeup and as I'm using them in the tutorials. So let's get into it. Okay, the first color I'm going to dip my brush into is Fairfax. This is a very pretty matte nude shade. If your skin tone is a little bit darker, you could definitely use Sunset to apply all over. I'm just using this as my base shade. I'm going to apply this all over my lid, going all the way up to my eyebrows. Next, I'm using the shade Sunset. I'm using this as my crease color. You could also use one of the darker shades as your crease color, depending on your skin tone as well. I love this because it's like a very warm brown, which is what I love to always use in the crease. I feel like warm colors in the crease work so much better than cool tones. Doesn't matter really what your skin tone is. I feel like warm in the crease always works better. So I also have some super exciting news for you guys. I am going to be at BeautyCon LA August 10th. If you don't have tickets, I got you, because Catrice Cosmetics and I are giving away 30 tickets to BeautyCon to my super OG subscribers, followers that have been, with me for a long time. You can win, you and a friend, so you'll actually win 2 tickets to BeautyCon August 10th. You can come to my meet and greet at the Catrice booth. You can come play with the palettes. You might even get the palettes. We'll see. But if you want to enter to be able to win tickets to BeautyCon, you can enter on Instagram. And I know that not all of you have Instagram, but unfortunately, whenever I do giveaways on YouTube, it's impossible to get a hold of you guys after. Whereas on Instagram, it's way easier to get a hold of you guys. So that is where the giveaway is being held. You can go to this post right here, read all the giveaway details, and then enter the giveaway there. And then I'm gonna be announcing the winner on July 23rd, or the winners, because there's 30 of them. Okay, so the next shade that I'm taking is Malibu, and this is just like a really pretty bronze color, but it's a little bit cooler than the other bronze tones. So you have a mix of cool and warm. I love how that goes on. Okay, so I decided to actually wet my brush a little bit with a bit of Fix Plus, and I'm packing that bronzy tone on, and you can see how it just blends in with that crease color perfectly. Okay, next color I'm taking is Runyon, which is this kind of warm reddy brown, this color right there. And I'm going in with a little bit more of a defined brush, just so I get a little precision when I'm doing this. Just carve out that outer corner of my crease to add that kind of vibey cat eye vibe shape that I love to do, and bring it about 3/4 of the way in. So this is going to add even more warmth to the eye, which is super pretty. I'm going to sweep this color along my lower lash line. So this is going to give us like a pretty classic smoky eye, but super wearable, perfect for summer, not too intense. The bronzy tones make all the difference. I love this brush, by the way. Who's this by? This is Sigma, the Diffused Crease Brush E38. It's like the perfect size for the lower lash line. And the hairs are super soft. So I love how the color is kind of just wrapping around my eye. This is going to look really pretty once we have lashes and mascara. So next I'm going in with the color Sweetser, which is this darker brown. It's a little bit cooler, so it's not as warm as the other brown. I'm going in with that same flat brush I used earlier, and I'm just using this color, just patting that in the outer corner. The other thing that you guys are going to notice about these shadows is that they are so easy to work with. Eyeshadow formulas can totally vary. Sometimes eyeshadows are impossible to blend, or they blend too much, so when you blend them they disappear. But these are so easy to use. You guys are gonna see they just, all the colors just work beautifully together, and they just go on and they're just really smooth, so they blend so easily, and you don't have to, they're kind of dummy proof is the way I would say. So I'm just packing this color on the outer corner just to deepen this bronzy eye a bit, and then I'm taking kind of the edge of the brush, dipping it into the palette, and then brushing that color along my lashes. So not really applying shadow on my skin, but kind of rubbing the brush into my lashes just to make the lash line a little bit deeper. And I'm just keeping that right on the outer corner. I'm not going past halfway. So now we have like this beautiful, more intense color on the outer corner. These shadows are so easy to use. I can't even get over it. But I'm not just saying that because I've been using them, but they really are, you guys. Like, you're gonna love them. I'm telling you, you're going to love these palettes. I'm gonna dip into Hollywood Boulevard just with my finger because I want just a tiny little bit of that kind of bronzy gold just in the center there. Not too much. I think like using your finger gives you a little bit of a different effect. Using it wet will give you a different effect. So you can definitely play around, but I'm going to show you guys there's so many different looks you can create with these palettes, which is the best thing. And then I'm going to use that same color, but go in with a nice small little brush and apply that just on the lower lash line. So like I said, you guys know I am known for my bronzy eyeshadow looks. That's why I had to start with that for the very first video for this collab. And you guys know that I love a good smoky eye. If you've been following me forever, it's kind of my staple. And it was one of like my very first videos that kind of blew up on YouTube was my bronzy smoky eye look. So I feel like I'm doing full circle right now. So crazy. Okay, the next step, I'm gonna dip into 2 shades using an angled brush. So I have my brush over here, and I definitely wanted a black shadow in the palette because having a black is so helpful. We're gonna dip into Mulholland Drive and Sweetser, which is that dark brown, because I don't want this to be super dark. And I'm dipping it into both colors, just kind of going back and forth, shaking off the excess. And then just right at that outer corner, I want to just darken right at the lash line. So it's going to be a little bit more intense at the lash line. And since I didn't wet the brush, the color is going to be a little bit softer. It's going to be more diffused. It's not going to be as intense because if you wet the brush and the color just shows up a lot more pigmented. So I'm going to do one eye because I really want to show you guys the difference because it does make a difference, but it's super subtle. And kind of going back and forth between the black and the brown makes it a little bit lighter than just doing the black. And when I'm applying this, I'm holding my brush horizontal, pushing the shadow into my lash line, and then also kind of flicking it up so it's not just a line, but it's like blended a little bit. It's like a little bit diffused, so it blends up towards the other shadows. I'm doing that same thing, but I'm just using the brown this time and just kind of blending that into my lashes. Again, my lower lashes, not applying it on my skin really, just kind of very lightly blending it into my lashes. Now it is time for mascara and lashes, and that pretty much completes the eye look. I'm gonna add one little thing after, but first let's go into cheeks. So I am using the Cheeky Blush Palette. And again, the great thing about this palette is that you can totally mix and match the shades. You can use more than one shade. I'm gonna start off with the darker tone. So the shade Cairo. So I love using this color kind of as a bronzer to start. If you have a deeper skin tone, this color is gonna look beautiful on you. So is Luxor. Luxor is gonna look stunning on deeper skin tones. And they work on everyone, which is the great thing. So I'm just taking Cairo and just kind of applying that as my base color, bringing that up to my hairline, working that along my apples of my cheeks, bringing it up to my temples. And then once I have that color as my base, and you're gonna notice these blushes are super pigmented. I've been getting a lot of comments about that after I posted pictures, and people are like, oh, I hope they're as pigmented as they look. They are, trust me. So now I am taking You could either really use any of these, either Shisha or Alexandria. They're very similar, but one has a shimmer to it. Alexandria has more of a pinkier undertone and it has a little bit of shimmer, whereas Shisha is more peachy and it's matte. I think I'm gonna go for Shisha today. I'm just gonna dip my brush into that really gently because, like I said, these blushes are pigmented, you guys. And I'm using this kind of like soft diffused brush. And I'm really just working this color more on the apples of my cheeks and then blending it into that first color we use, Cairo. And the great thing about these colors is that they all work so well together as well. So you can't really go wrong. I've gone ahead and finished off my lips right before we finish off this look. It's time to go into the highlighter palette, the Lit highlighter palette as the last finishing touch. So I'm gonna dip my brush into a few of these. I love using Whistler in the inner corner because it's like super, super bright. And with the highlighter palette, it really depends on your skin tone because these shades will look different on everyone. So for me, Whistler is very bright. The reason I wanted to call that shade Whistler is because Whistler is an area in British Columbia that has a lot of snow. It gets a lot of snow. So I thought this beautiful like white shimmery highlighter was the perfect name for it, was Whistler. So I'm just gonna pop that in the inner corner. You guys are gonna see it's so beautiful and pigmented and like so bright. This highlighter is everything. And you barely even need to tap your brush into it, you guys. Like, I'm just like, So I love using this as my like inner corner pop color. The other shades are great too, but they have like different undertones to them. So you could totally play around with these and see like which one you love or which one works for whatever look you're doing. Okay, so you could totally mix and match highlighters. Like I said, I'm gonna take Surrey and use that to kind of just like highlight all over and all of the key areas. So I love just highlighting along my nose because it looks really pretty in the light when you turn your head around. Just along the sides of my nose. You guys, look how pigmented this is. Like, I'm barely even touching my skin. Oh my god, I love it. And then on top of the cheekbones. The other thing with highlighter too is like it's really tricky to get the formula right because you want it to just look beautiful on your skin. You don't want it to look like there's texture. So getting that right formula is not easy, but I think we did it. I know we did it. Look how pretty that is, you guys. So gorgeous. Oh my god, I love, 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 love it. I want to say a huge, huge thank you to you guys because this would have never been possible if it wasn't for you. I am where I am because of all of your support through so many years. This is like, I'm actually trying not to cry right now because I don't know, when I really just stop and think about how my whole journey on YouTube has been and how it's like just completely changed my life and opened so many doors and it's led me to where I am now, all because I uploaded a makeup tutorial on the internet. It's kind of a trip, but I'm so grateful for you guys. I can't wait till you get your hands on these palettes. Please tag me. At Eman is my Instagram and at Eman Makeup is my Twitter. Please tag me. I want to see these pictures. I'm dying if you get the palettes, if you see them in the store, if you do any looks. Don't forget to enter the giveaway to win tickets to BeautyCon LA on August 10th so you can come meet me and I can meet you, which I love meeting you guys in person, and then also get your hands on the palettes. So I'm super excited for that. You have until July 23rd, so only a couple days to enter the giveaway. So make sure you enter on Instagram. Look for this post. Enter right away. Thank you so much to Catrice. I love you guys. You did such an amazing job helping me bring my vision to life. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. You're gonna see a lot more videos using these palettes. So if you end up getting them, you're gonna have a bunch of ideas of looks to do. This is my staple bronzy vibe. I love it. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. And I will see you in another video very soon.